Hello, everybody. Lars here. It is time for our second review video for Unit 1. This will be for the second half of the slides, and I know it's a joke, but it should be a quick one. Hopefully, it will be a quick one. I just got back from High Point Solution Stadium, where Rutgers got beaten by Eastern Michigan, and I had the sun beat down on my face, and it was windy, and Rutgers lost, and it was miserable. It was miserable. It's a fun day. It's a good day to go watch football with your friends and hang out all day, blah, blah, blah. But oh my God, the game was so long and the referees were so bad. Oh, some really, really questionable calls, especially near the end of the game. And then they ended up losing. It was really bad. That said, they didn't play great either. It's not like they deserved to win and it was stolen from them. They played lousy. They got the running game together in the third quarter, but then just, I don't know, they turned into Rutgers again. It was really crappy. What are you going to do? I'm going to go over the second half of the slides. Hopefully it's going to go quick because we're just going to do a little bit of stuff with Boolean variables. And then we're going to, once you do Booleans, you're like, why do you need Booleans? And when you figure it out, it's because you want to look at them and make decisions. And we make decisions with if-then. But let's just get inside and do it. Hold on. I set up some code for us already. So I have a Python shell. I have a program. And as you can see in the comments, I have a string comment and our regular comments with our number signs. I show these things called the relational operators, and I leave them up there in the comments because at the end of the video I'm going to take this code and I'm going to put it up on Sakai for you. But basically what I'm going to do right now is just real quick, I'm going to create two variables. I'm going to call them var1, not uppercase. Did I have uppercase? var1 and var2, and I'm going to make them equal to true and false. As you can see on the screen, idle makes them orange. It's because they're keywords. You have to remember to capitalize them. And a Boolean variable is like a 1 or a 0. It's either true or it's false. Okay? So now if I come over here and I say print var1, and I save and I run, you can look up there on the screen and it says true. And you might be saying to yourself, that's fantastic. Wonderful job. Why in God's name would I care? Why don't I just make it a string and make it the word true? Why does that matter at the end of the day? Well, it matters because instead of just assigning those variables, what if I took a variable and called it var3, and I said assign to var3 the value of 20 is greater than 10. Right? Now, is 20 greater than 10? Yes, it is. So the value in var3 is going to be equal to true. So now when I print var3, you'll see the value is still 2. Now, what happens if I reverse the operator and I make it a less than? Is 20 less than 10? No. So that should be false, and the Boolean value in the Boolean variable var3 should be false. And it is. Okay? So now you can see we can use these relational operators and create statements and conditions that need to be evaluated, and when they're evaluated, their results can be put in that variable. Again, a second time, you might be saying, that is absolutely fascinating. Fantastic. Good job. Why do I care? What does it matter? And I'll tell you why it matters. It matters, and I'm not going to use var3 at first. When we start taking these decisions, let me save that, and use them to make decisions, I'm going to use the if keyword, and I'm going to say if 20 is greater than 10, and then I'm going to use a colon. And what a colon does is it creates a code block. You can see we're indented 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, white space matters in Python. When you want to create a code block, you have to indent a certain amount of space. I'm going to tell you, I don't suggest it, but I'm going to tell you that whatever amount of space you want to indent, it would be okay, as long as you're consistent. If you want to indent 17 spaces and every time you do it that way, that's fine, as long as it's consistent. I will also tell you that Python has a convention that most Python programmers use, which is indent 4. And then underneath that, indent 4 more. and then indent. So we go 4, 8, 12, 16. Most Python programmers. Editors are pretty good. The different editors that I've used in my days will recognize all different indentations. But when you have an editor like Idle, or one called Wing IDE, or Spider from Anaconda, they usually by default will indent your code 4. And as you can see, we're indented 4 right there. I'm going to print GT for greater than, okay, if that's true. So is 20 greater than 10? It is, so we should print GT. Let's see what happens. False and then GT. What I'm going to do, I think, is comment out that print line so it doesn't get in the way. All right? So now I don't really want to switch the sign. Is 20 greater than 10? Yes. Well, you know what I can do right here, because I want to show you this, is I can test the results of R3 and do my test up here. Okay? So now I'm creating a Boolean variable, and I'm testing that variable to see what its value is. And as you can see, you still get the same result. Now, what if I said 5? Is 5 greater than 10? No. So what happens? Nothing. The program runs, and because that value is false, it says if false. If that's false, then you don't run the code block. All right? But what if there was something that you wanted to run if it were false? We have the else. So you can say if var3 print GT, else print less than. Okay? So now when we run it, it says less than. Because 5 is not greater than 10, we say it's less than. But is that true? What if I did that? Is 10 greater than 10? No, it's not. But when I run things, it says less than. Is 10 really less than 10? It's not. The same. So in this certain situation, we thought we were presented with a binary situation, greater than, less than, but we're not. There's one in the middle, equal to. So how would we handle that? Well, the way we would do that is I would, how would I do this? I know what I would do. I would create 2 variables. I would make num1 equal to 5. I would make num2 equal to 10. Hello. And I would say, get rid of R3. And I'd say if num1 greater than num2, print greater than, and then I say if, because it allows me to create a second condition. If num1 less than num2, print that, and then okay, so I check if it's greater than, and if it is, I print GT. Elif, so else, if that's not true, then I have another one I want to test. Is it less than? And if it is, I print less than. But if it's not greater than, and it's not less than, there's only one thing left it could be, so that else will catch everything else. Let's test it and see what we got. First test we want to do is with 20. So, yay, greater than, works. So now I try it with 5. Now it's less than. Now the big test. They're equal. What's going to happen? We get an EQ because they're equal. Okay? So the whole reason I'm showing you this is so you can see some Boolean variables in action, but also the if, elif, else structure there. A lot of people call if, then, else. I know there's no word then. Other languages back in the day, I think Pascal used to have the word then. We don't really need it anymore. We just say if. And then if it's true, we do the code block or what we want to perform. Then if there's an else, that's what we do if it's not true. Okay? Elif helps us make decisions down the line along the way. Okay? If you have experience with another language, a Java, a C, C++. There is no switch statement in Python. There is no case statement in Python. If you want to make multiple decisions about something, you need to build an if structure in order to do it, all right? If you don't understand what I just said, do not worry about it. It's not a big deal, all right? So you're going to have that code. I'm leaving that up for you, but there's one more thing I want to show you. And I told you this is going to be a short one, and then I will get out of Dodge. Let's say I have num4, and num4 equals 70. Now, what if I wanted to see if 70 was within a range? Let's say I want to see if num4 is greater than 30, okay? But I also want to make sure it's less than 80, okay? So I could do something like this. If num4 is greater than 30, and then right underneath it have another if, and say if num4 is less than 80, and if both of those things are true, then I print in range. All right, so if I have a number like 70 there, it should print in range, right? But if I do 10, nothing happens. All right, if I do 81, nothing happens because these things are out of range, okay? Now that works, but if you take a look at it, it's not really, at first glance, the most understandable piece of code you've ever read. A big thing about Python programming is that we want the code to be readable. We want people to look at it and kind of be able to understand the logic that it's getting to. So instead of a construct like this, maybe it would be better if we used a little bit of Boolean algebra. So if I say if num greater than 30 and num4 is less than 80, print in range. Well, that might be a better, my OCD will not let that sit there. That might be a nicer, cleaner way of doing what we want to do. Okay? And of course it didn't work because I didn't reset the number. Okay? So you can do that. Now, you don't just have and. You also have an or. Now, in our particular situation, we can't just make this an or, because think about it. It'll always say in range. It's like a tautology. Is it greater than 30? Well, yes, that is. Okay, so the or means only one side has to be correct. Like back, I should show this again with the and. Okay, when you first had the and it said in range, what was really going on here? You were looking at this conditional and you saw that it was true. And then you looked at this conditional and saw that it was true. So you had true and true. And if you took symbolic logic and do truth tables and stuff like that, true and true equals true. So the whole thing is true. If true, print in range, and that's why it happens. Okay? But if I have 10, I run it, nothing happens. And the reason is num4 greater than 30? No, it's not. So that's false. So then is num4 less than 80? Yes, it is less than 80, but I have a false here. So a false and a true is false. They both have to be true for the conjunction to come together and be true altogether. But we can change that. The way we change that is by using an or. So now if I do it with an or, it's good to go. Right? Is it less than 30? No. Is it greater than 30? No. But is it less than 80? Yes. So with an or, I only need to be true in one of these two spots. So I'm true in the second one. Boom. Now, if you look at that, you realize something. You're always going to be true. Okay? Because if let's say I have something that would be out of range before 10. Well, 10 triggers that because it's less than 80. Okay? Now, what if I have 101? 101 is going to hit that one. So it's always going to be true. In symbolic logic, it's what we call a tautology. It's always going to be right. So we kind of don't want to do it that way. If we wanted to still do this particular problem, what we would do is reverse the signs. So then you're checking the other side of the ranges. You know what I mean? You're checking the outsides now. So if you do it this way. So it says in range. Why did it say in range? Oh, it said in range because it was less than. Okay, so what I want to do is not in range. Okay, so now if I do a 70, so it's in range, nothing happens. All right, because now I'm checking the not in range. But if I do my 101, tells me not in range. All right, so or kind of, you can do the opposite of the and with the or. All right, and then the very last thing you want to mind is not. And not is more like you put it in front of something to switch it. So if something's going to be true and there's a not in front of it, then you can make it false. Like right here, we'll go back to the and condition. So let's say if num1 is num4 is greater than 30 and num4 is less than 80, and we'll make it 70 again. All right, we're back to our original situation, correct? Yes, in range. So that's true because this is true and this is true, but without changing anything but this. What if I throw a not in front of that? It's going to take this true and make it false, and then the whole thing won't work. See? Now, you could also, if you want to, you can group with parentheses. There's nothing against it in Python, but you don't need it. In some other languages, C and Java and things like that, you do need parentheses, but you don't in Python. But Python doesn't care. You can have it or not have it. So now if you go back to normal, you just go back to in range. Okay? So really fast, I just wanted to show you here. We'll get rid of these and we'll do a grand finale. Well, I don't think the grand finale is going to be that exciting. But we did it pretty quick, but we went over a bunch of cool stuff right here. We created a Boolean variable. We showed how we can use the conditional operators to create Boolean variables, and then we started making decisions by testing them. You can just test your condition flat out, or you can create a variable and test that variable. And here we used an if, then an elif. So if you want to test a second condition down here, and an else structure. So you can just have a regular if-else with it's a binary choice. Or you can test for something else after you've tested the first one in case you have something that has 3 or 4 different things that you have to look for. And lastly, we just looked at the Boolean algebra operators as far as putting together your conditionals are concerned. You have an and, you have an or, and you have a not. And you can see, idle makes them orange. They're keywords. And you can use them when you're making decisions and doing things with code. And as you're reading the chapters and you see some of the examples and some of the different things we're doing in this first unit, you get the gist of what's going on with if. And later, especially in the next unit, when we start dealing with strings and lists and looping and stuff like that, you're going to see we're going to make a lot more use out of if statements, and you'll see what it does there. Because then we're going to start doing just a little bit of data science when we have lists, and we're going to go through lists, and we're going to say if this certain variable is over whatever, save it. If this is this, so you'll see. We're going to go into lists a lot and do things. All right? So I'm going to take this code, and I'm going to put it up on Sakai for you, and everything is going to be good. I apologize. I thought I was going to be able to get you this video last night, but I ran into a whole bunch of different errands and a whole bunch of different things I had to do. And then today I had to do the football game, so I had to do that. But the first thing I did when I got home is turned on the TV, saw a bunch of hurricane stuff, did the dishes, and I said, wait, I got to go shoot that Python video because I got to get my people the Python video for the weekend, so you have all the weekends. Technically, now, you have all of your resources for Unit 1. You have your Zell readings. You have my slides. Remember, my slides first, then the Zell readings. And you have the 2 review videos, the ones that count anyway. You're going to get another video. I may even shoot it tomorrow. But you don't need it to do your assignments. Okay? It's not really part of what you need to learn for this unit. It's just an extra video that I just shoot real quick. I take a simple problem. Sometimes I do a Celsius Fahrenheit converter. Sometimes I do a change program. I just do a little program so that you can see somebody start from scratch and from soup to nuts make a program. And it's short, 10 minutes, really easy. But sometimes it helps people, and I've gotten feedback in the past that said, oh, that was really helpful. because I saw, I saw the way you save the file, and that helped me. I didn't know how to do that, and I saw how to do this, and boom, boom, boom. So I usually do it every semester just to make sure things are square. All right, announcements. I guess that was an announcement. You have all your resources, so steep in them. Read the slides, reread the slides, look at the videos, check all these things out, and then on Monday, I will probably release at least one, if not both, of your assignments for the unit. I try to get you all your resources 7 days before anything is due, and I think the end of this unit is September 20th. So you've still got, I'm looking at my calendar down there, and today was the 9th, so you've still got a cool 11 days left in the unit. You've still got a lot of time. So I'm going to get you the assignments on Monday. And trust me, oh my goodness, the assignments are easy, so you got no worries. So spend some time with the resources, spend some time watching the videos, and play around with your Python. Get used to this stuff. Do some small programs. All right? Couple of different notes. One, I saw people helping people in forums. I think that's awesome. Somebody chimed in, and forgive me for not knowing names yet. We're still in flux. I have people dropping. I have people adding. Boom, boom, boom. We recently had a burst up, and I think we have like 58 students. So there's a lot of people in the introductions. There's a lot of people doing things. And somebody put in a question about indenting. As we saw today, you indent 4, you indent 8, boom, boom, boom. And a student came in and helped out, and I think that's fantastic. I want you guys to do that. I want you to talk to each other. One warning. Make sure, and I know this is difficult because you're learning, but make sure if you tell somebody something that you're right, okay? Because I know a couple semesters ago I had somebody who was trying to be super ultra helpful, but they didn't always know what they were doing. And sometimes they would give bad information, and I had to kind of throw a blanket over it after a while and say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't do this, and maybe you shouldn't do that. Now, in this particular instance, wasn't the case. The person who answered was knowledgeable and was absolutely correct, and it was very helpful, and I want to see that, so please keep doing it. I'm not trying to put a damper on that. All I'm saying is that if you don't know the answer, don't try to be Johnny Hard Drive and think you got to answer everything and blah, 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 okay? That's my job. That's what I do. And I'll do that for everybody, and I'll go in there. But what I saw in there was very good, so I wanted to make mention of it. I think it's fantastic. You're all doing a good job getting your introductions in there. So I also wanted to say a little something about make sure you get the forum posts in there early, because I used to just say forum posts are due the last day of the unit, but that doesn't make any sense, because then your classmates don't have a chance to read anything or see anything. So I think everybody getting it in there early is great. Usually the forum post will be due 4 days before the end of the unit. So in this case, it would be the 16th. If you have not done your introduction yet, you still have time, but get in there, because I like for people to have a chance to go see what their classmates are saying, especially when we start reviewing the TED Talks and actually responding to it and getting some conversation going, all right? Other than that, keep going. I mean, I don't want to kill you with announcements right now. We just started. We are not even a week old, and you've already got your slides, your chapter. You've got 2 videos. On Monday, you'll get some assignments. So we're rolling. We're doing some stuff, and we're getting some stuff done. All right? Then I'm going to get out of here. You have a really good weekend. Better weekend than the football team had. And I'm going to be in touch, if not tomorrow with a video, then Monday. And hopefully I'll have a video and maybe the first couple assignments for you to deal with on Monday. Okay? Then I'm getting out of here. I will talk to you soon. You have a good night. Bye.